Welcome to the 75th episode of Downtime Podcast. I'm Alyssa.
I am Jeremy.
And you're joining us on a wonderful Friday. The work week is over.
If you're listening to this on a Friday, happy Friday. If you're listening to this on any other day that's not Friday, happy
Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how you been? You've been busy. You know, we haven't had you on the podcast in a while.
Yeah, well, I have been busy, but I've also been sick for legit. When you had your podcast with Mayu, that was maybe my fourth day in a row being sick, and I was sick for a whole good week, and it was almost like the flu. It wasn't the flu, but it was like the flu, where my muscles and everything was fatigued, and I couldn't do any motor skill, and I was just in bed.
Oh my goodness.
For a while. And really the only thing that I could do was just kind of prop up and watch TV, or like even going on my phone hurt because it used my hands.
Oh my God, Alyssa.
I know, but I'm better now. Yay!
Yeah, I'm glad you're better, but that's really scary.
Yeah, I know, but it's all good now. I am okay. The good news is in that time I've basically caught up on all these TV shows.
Always good to catch up on stuff on Netflix or Hulu or HBO. What did you watch recently?
So there's 3 shows that I'm caught up with. The first one is American Vandal, and I saw both seasons of American Vandal, and I mean, I didn't binge it in less than 24 hours, but you know.
Okay, I have to say something about this because I actually finished the second season yesterday.
Oh my God! Okay,
and I've been like obsessed with that show. That show is good. I
love mockumentaries of any kind.
Yep.
And when I found out that this was a crime show like Law and Order serial mockumentary, I watched it and I was hooked immediately. That is an excellent show.
I want a third season. Like, I want a third season.
They need to do a third season in college.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they're in high school. I mean, just keep going up, until they graduate college.
Yeah, I mean, technically season 2 is their senior thesis. It's their final project.
Right, yeah, that's right.
Which season did you like more, season 1 or season 2?
I like season 1's character development and twists and turns, but I like season 2's ending more.
You know what? I can kind of agree with you with that. What I liked about season 1 was it was a very introspective piece on investigating something, but kind of seeing how it affects the people around you and anyone that you've worked with, anyone that you're friends with. And because of that, I was not more affected by Dylan, but I felt for his character because I saw him create a relationship with Peter and whatnot, versus season 2 where they didn't go to the high school, and right. it's different, and so it was much more. It was investigative, but from more afar.
Yeah, and I felt like season 1 was a lot more personal.
Definitely.
And season 2 was like, we're supposed to be taking the perspective of Peter and Sam.
Yes.
But I really liked season 1's characters more. I feel I like Jimmy Tatro, the guy that plays Dylan. I think he was hilarious. And do you know that he's a YouTuber?
I think, I was about to comment. What's crazy about season 1 and season 2 is a lot of the main characters came from Vine, or they came from YouTube.
Yeah, I was reading up an article about the casting for season 1, and the filmmakers were saying that they wanted to cast people that were not big A-list stars. They wanted to cast like almost unknown people that can come up with like improv on like, think on their feet and come up with dialogue that's not really in the script, because they just want it to be naturally funny or naturally awkward in that sense.
And I think that's great. Jimmy Tatro is a voiceover for the Yeti movie. You know what I'm talking about? There's a new animated movie by DreamWorks, and it's about Yetis.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the Yetis.
That's so random, but I think so too. I think you're right. But
yeah.
I mean, good for him. I mean, he branched out to more mainstream stuff.
Exactly, which I think is a very good thing.
Totally. I mean, we all know what happened to Kev Jumba. He went on Nickelodeon for a hot minute, and then he dropped off the map.
I know.
I digress. And then,
but one comment that I had about season 2 was I think the ending of what you said about the ending of season 2 impacting you a lot more. Like, for me, the ending of season 1 was like, when I watched it, I felt a feeling of, oh, that was a good one. Like, that was a good twist. I would have never guessed who the final suspect was. Yeah. And then when I got to season 2, that ending was like, I hate people who are terrible human beings.
Yeah, there was a lot more anger in season 2.
There was I had so much pent-up anger during the reveal. I was so mad. I was so upset.
I know. Like, that was messed up. Like, season 1, I was like, holy crap, I can't believe this is the person that drew all the dicks. And then season 2 is like, man, you are just a piece of shit. Why would you do that?
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, but overall, I think the show is great. Like, both seasons together, they need to be watched back to back because it's hilarious. Like, the concept of it is just really original and funny, and all the people that populate the show are just hilarious and put a really human perspective on something that's really simple and might be monotonous, but they blow it up to a more professional sense. It looks like it's an almost harmless crime that could be easily done away with, but they make it seem more grandiose than it actually is, and I think that's hilarious.
Exactly. It's a dark comedy for sure in that sense.
Yeah, it's great.
And it tugs on your heartstrings a lot more.
Oh yeah, no, season expecting. 1. No, totally. Season 1, I was rooting for Dylan the whole time. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I want you to be free from all this.
I know.
But on top of American Vandal, what else did you watch or are you watching?
Okay, I'm not done, but I'm on season 3 of 7 Deadly Sins, which is an anime about the 7 Deadly Sins. And the 7 Deadly Sins is kind of personified as 7 people during the medieval times. And season 1 is you start off with, I believe, Melodious, something like that. That's his name, and he's the Sin of Wrath. And he's pretty much he's finding all of his sins, his posse throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
And then so season 3 is basically everything's finally rounding up now that everyone is together.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's good. It's fun. Season 1, the first 6 episodes when I watched it, I wasn't sure if I was even a fan of the show at all. And then I think when the show revealed Envy, that's when I picked up on the show. So
nice.
Yeah. And
this, go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
I just want to say, I think I've seen this on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix original anime, right?
It is a Netflix original, and it's kind of surprising that it's a Netflix. It very much feels like it was something like Funimation or Animex.
Right. And that's good. I mean, that's a good thing that they have that quality.
It is. It's a very good thing. And they even have I'm watching the Japanese dub of it.
Oh, yeah. No, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that they have multiple languages.
Good. I mean, I think that's a good thing that they probably did the Japanese first and then just layered over other audio.
I almost wonder if it was Netflix Japan who made it.
I believe so. I mean, it has to be, since, I'm sure the production company that made the anime is in Japan. I'm sure they work with that company.
That would make a lot of sense.
Like how Fuji TV works with Netflix to bring out Terrace House.
Yes, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've
then
actually
go for it.
I've actually been watching anime too, and I finished. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I finished My Hero Academia.
Oh, yes,
a
you
couple
have.
weeks ago. Yeah, and then today was the last episode of season 3 of Attack on Titan, and I watched that literally like an hour or two ago.
Was it the last episode, or it's just on a break? I'm getting conflicted.
Yeah, it's on hiatus. So,
okay, I'm getting very conflicting announcements about.
No. I can confirm, if you're a fan of Attack on Titan and you watched episode 12 today or whatever day, it is on hiatus until April 2019. So that means that season 3 is still happening. It's not going to be season 4. Think of this as season 3A, and when the next part of season 3 comes out, it'll be season 3B.
That's weird because American shows do that, and I've never experienced that with a Japanese show before, having a huge break in between the seasons. It's very common for the dramas here, though.
Yeah, no, totally. But I think it's weird, too, because the manga is so far ahead for Attack on Titan. It's like they could pretty much do 24 episodes like continuously, but they didn't choose to do that. They chose to take a break instead. So I'm wondering, like, maybe they were trying to see how far the manga would get before they made a decision. Because season 2 was a disappointingly 12-episode season. And
it's
before
true.
that, season 1 was like 24, 25 episodes. And
I know, it was.
So maybe this is, their way of saying, hey, guys, season 3 is still going on, but we need to take a break and continue making the anime.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been watching that. So
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and I've also been watching Terrace House.
Hey, Terrace House.
I've been watching Terrace House.
Fucking crazy.
We'll do a spoiler cast next time about Terrace House.
The last show that I'm watching, I watched the first episode of Handmaid's Tale.
What's that?
It's the most fucked up show ever.
Well, say no more.
Say no more. It's so horrifying. I don't even know if I can get past episode 1. I was so shocked and mortified. I'm not over it right now. And it's like interesting. And what drives me is I want to watch it because I want to see the main character survive. But at the same time, it's just so terrible. Terrible meaning this is honestly scarier to me than any horror movie that I've ever seen.
Oh man, okay.
I know, because it very much reflects. It's about it's like a dystopian society, and it's not a cult, but it's pretty much a society where we're in the 2000s, like it's already the future, but somehow a religious patriarchal society overruns the government and is now in control and basically brings everything back to the olden times when women were subservient.
Oh, wow.
And women are used if women are only valuable if they're fertile, and they're used for reproducing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then any other woman who's not fertile is kind of sent to a place called the colony, which is basically like a real like the place that you don't want to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's frightening in my opinion.
That is horrifying to think about.
It's like I really want to watch this because I want to know what happens to June, who's the name of the main character, but at the same time, I don't think my guts can watch it.
Ugh, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it sounds like an interesting show. I might have to add that to my queue and maybe watch like the first 5 minutes of the first episode and see if I can stomach it.
I know. The crazy thing is apparently it's based off of a book that a lot of people have read in high school.
Huh. Okay.
I never read this book in high school.
Me neither. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Okay.
The production value and the writing and everything I think is very good. I just feel like you need to be in the right mindset to watch it for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the shows that maybe you shouldn't eat something before you watch it, or maybe you should eat something after and wait for it to digest.
Yeah, it can get very disturbing.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And that rounds up all the TV I'm watching. I'm watching Community as well, but that's not a new show for me. I've been keeping up with Community since the beginning.
Oh yeah, no, I remember you at work when we were coworkers. You had the Community mug.
Sorry. Oh my god, not Community, Superstore. My bad.
Oh, I was like,
Oh my god.
I was like,
By
you
the
can
way,
rewatch Community if you want. There's nothing wrong with rewatching Community.
don't worry. I rewatch Community often. I was just confused. I was like, wait, I have a Superstore mug? I realized I'm talking about Superstore.
Okay.
Another kind of it's not a mockumentary. It's not like Parks and Rec, but it's a workplace comedy. So
Right. Retail workplace comedy. And we actually saw the set of the Cloud9 store a year ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Wait, 2 years ago.
A year ago. 2 years ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But that's all the TV I'm watching.
Nice. To round that out, I actually finished another show called Man of the High Castle. I don't know if you've heard of that, Alyssa.
I've totally heard of that show.
Season 3 came out a couple of weeks ago, and I finished it in like a week. And oh boy, that's a great show. It's
on Amazon Prime, right?
It is, yeah. So for those that don't know what the show's about, it's based on a novel by Philip K. Dick. And if you guys don't know who Philip K. Dick is, he was the inspiration for Blade Runner. And his book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, is the basis for the Blade Runner film series. So he's no stranger to sci-fi, and his books are no stranger to adaptations of big budget sci-fi flicks. The story of Man of the High Castle is about the Axis powers winning World War II. So that's the Nazi Germany side and the Empire of Japan side. So they win World War II, and the Japanese Empire takes over the Pacific United States section. So they call it the JPS, Japan Pacific States. And the Nazis take over the East Coast and most of the Midwest. So the Nazis have more control over the United States, but there's a little buffer area between both JPS and the Nazi Reich called the neutral states, and that's or neutral territory, I think. And that's where the people go to like talk about business. That's where the Japan and Germany can go to talk about, the politics. And that's where kind of like a Wild West section of the world is in the United States, where there's kind of lawless and cowboys kind of still roam that area. And this whole story takes place in the 1960s, and season 3 takes place in 1962 or 1963, I forget. So it's an alternate history show with elements of sci-fi, and I won't spoil too much about the sci-fi part of it because it gets pretty good later on, and in the beginning you're kind of questioning what's happening. But yeah, it's a pretty great show right now. I like a lot of the characters. There's a lot. It's really bloody too. It's pretty gruesome. There's a lot of things that happen that sometimes I couldn't stomach it. Like there's a guy. Oh, that's horrible. There's a guy who was caught being a traitor in the Kempeitai, and the Kempeitai is basically the Japanese version of the Gestapo. And the Gestapo and Kempeitai are secret police, and they basically work directly for the government and for the leader of the respective governments, and they go around and they make sure you're, abiding by the law, pretty much. They're military police, but like a hardcore level of it. And so there's a guy, a Japanese officer, who was caught as a traitor. And what they did was they lined up a bunch of guys with bayonets, and they took turns stabbing him one by one. And they showed the whole scene, and the guy was yelling for his life. And I was like, oh God, this is horrible. That was the beginning of one of the episodes.
Oh, God.
The first 30 seconds, everyone's in a line taking turns stabbing this guy for 2 minutes of the first opening of this episode. And I'm like, why am I watching this? It's horrible.
I know.
But no, I digress. And the whole show overall is really good. As I mentioned before, it's the sci-fi take on alternate history. And it doesn't really follow the book anymore because the book doesn't really talk about a lot of character development, and a lot of characters in the show aren't represented in the book. And so, I'd say that the show at this point has taken a lot of creative liberties to move the story in a direction that's a lot more viewer friendly and a lot more cinematically friendly. I I recommend it to anyone that's interested in history and alternate history. Anyone that likes action, thriller, mystery, suspense. Basically, if you liked Lost, you might like this show because there's a lot of elements that I think that were in Lost that are
And
in
if you
this
like
show.
Ridley Scott,
That's true. He's an executive producer for this show.
I was interested in the show because I know a lot about World War II. It's going to sound weird, but it was like the test that I knew the best about when I was in high school. And
Oh, no. Yeah, totally. Me too.
in college, I actually read a lot of literature about World War because there were quite a few classes that I took regarding World War II, except from the different perspectives. So it was different literatures from the different countries, including Japan, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I wanted to watch. This is a show on my radar because I'm curious how they portrayed it in an entertainment setting.
Definitely check it out. I mean, as I mentioned before, the Japanese Empire takes over the west coast of the United States. So they never talk about LA, but they do talk a lot about San Francisco, since a majority of the west coast scenes are taking place in San Francisco, and they actually did shoot in San Francisco. One of my friends, his coworker, who is of Japanese descent, was actually cast as an extra for season 3 in the background for one of the San Francisco scenes, since they were shooting on location in San Francisco. So I think it's really cool that they portray San Francisco as being ruled by the Japanese, and they also actually shoot here. So it's really cool being a local and wondering what production is going on, since there aren't too many movies and TV shows being set in San Francisco anymore.
Yeah.
With the exception of Venom recently.
Yeah, and then also I think Ant-Man was San Francisco as well.
That's correct. There were very select scenes from Ant-Man that were set in San Francisco. The whole, most of the movie of Ant-Man and the Wasp was set in San Francisco. Like the Dr. Hank Pym's house is actually a real house in SF that you can drive by. There's a part where they showed Pier 39, but most of the other downtown scenes were actually shot in Atlanta.
And I didn't know it was in Atlanta.
It's cheaper to shoot in Atlanta and set it as another city.
A lot of things are shot in Georgia. Walking Dead shot in Georgia.
Avengers 4 was shot in Georgia.
Whoa, I did not know that. I thought it was shot in Korea. Oh, no. That is Black Panther.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they shot some of Black Panther in Georgia, Korea, and other places. Maybe London. I don't remember, but
yeah, makes sense.
It's just the film industry now. Everything is much cheaper to shoot in Georgia. Everyone's going to Atlanta because it's so cheap to shoot movies there, and you can double the downtown city area for any city in the world.
It's true, because you can always graphically change it anyways.
Totally.
Yeah.
And here's another surprising fact I found. So, do you know what Pinewood Studios is, Alyssa?
That sounds very familiar.
They shoot Star Wars. They shoot James Bond movies there. Lord of the Rings / Hobbit movies were shot there at one point.
Okay.
It's like this huge studio that's based in London, England. I think it's London. I forget, but it's in England, and it's a huge movie studio set. And Pinewood Studios actually bought a plot of land in Georgia, and they own a huge set, which was where Avengers 4 was shot. So it goes to show you that, Hollywood really isn't the destination for filmmaking anymore. Everyone's doing it in Georgia. Man,
Georgia's really gonna build up there. Because a lot of animation companies and cable companies are also in Georgia. I think Cartoon Network is based in Georgia. Well, it's Los Angeles and Georgia.
Yeah, Adult Swim, I think, is only based in Georgia.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I mean, the film / TV industry is moving away from the West Coast and going towards more of the South / East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, things change, but it's nice to see other locations once in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man. We haven't talked anything about video games yet, huh?
All right, let's talk about video games.
This is what you're here for, right?
Yay! So, since I've been limited, there's a lot I need to catch up on, but I will say that I am done with Kiwami 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just wanted to give my ranking for Kiwami 2. Yakuza 5 is still my number 1, and I actually have Yakuza Kiwami 2 tied with Yakuza 0.
Ooh.
So they're right behind 5. And then
Ooh.
Yakuza 6 and then Yakuza Kiwami 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've yet to finish the game. I'm actually still playing it. I'm on chapter 10 still, I believe.
Hey.
I'm past the date scene. If that makes any sense to you.
Oh my god.
That whole scene was so cute, and I was like, "Oh my god, this feels like a real conversation," because you never see that side of Kiryu before.
Ship Kaoryu, guys, or
Yeah.
Kaorama. No, Kaoryu. Ship Kaoryu, and then Sayazama. Ship it.
Yeah. I ship it hard.
This is real love. I swear.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cute. It's so adorable. Like, I want to see her continue on in the next few games, but I don't know.
Oh my god, I hope she's in 3.
I want her to be 3, and I don't want her to die.
I know. Oh my
That's
god,
all I
I
ask.
don't want her to either. But yeah, ship it, y'all. Ship it. That teddy bear scene and when they're on the balcony is
yeah. She's like, "Thank you," and I was like, "Oh my god, so cute."
it was all amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's as far as I got in the story, because after that I went right back to playing the Cabaret Club minigame.
Oh.
I'm like so addicted to that minigame right now, as I was in Yakuza 0.
Okay, I am so dumb. I did not make the connection between the manager, Yuki, and Yakuza 0.
Really?
No, until the end. And
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I was like, what? What? And then it's the glasses, man. It's the glasses. Throwing me off.
And oh man, I don't know if I should talk about this in the spoiler cast or talk about it now. It's kind of a spoiler regarding Majima, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we'll save it for the spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, I mean, Yuki looks pretty good for 39, you know? for a computer girl, for a computer digital video game girl. I'm like, "Damn girl, you look pretty good for 39.
I know, them Asian genes.
For real though.
And on top of that, I did finish the Majima storyline.
Okay, so you like, in my eyes, you basically completed the whole game front to back, because you completed both storylines and you're pretty much waiting for the third game to come out.
Yeah, it's just not 100%ed.
Yeah, no, totally.
And I did very much enjoy the context that Majima's storyline brought to 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to talk about. And then I am going to start Valkyria Chronicles 4 this weekend, as well as next week I'm getting Red Dead 2. And also, I did not play it yet, but I actually have a coworker who has Soul Calibur 6, which I think as of today, it came out this morning.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I just found out that they have a copy of it, and we're gonna play it next week at work.
That's
so
nice.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, why not?
Why not? So I might have 3 games to talk about next week. So Valkyria Chronicles, Red Dead, and Soul Calibur.
Nice. My plan after finishing Kiwami 2 is I'm gonna start Shenmue, and maybe I'll play something on PC. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know if I'm gonna pick up Red Dead yet. I think I might be waiting until Black Friday to pick that one up.
For sure. About Shenmue. Oh man, I still have Shenmue. I actually forgot that I had it. And I think,
you know what? Yeah.
and honestly, I'm just I'm so bothered by the localization of it.
That's why I just play the Japanese language version. It's better for your ears.
It is better for my ears, but it's just so funny though.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna record myself playing it, and I'm just gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
It's like anytime I go back to Shenmue, I tell myself, "Oh my god, I gotta change it to the Japanese one." But this is so funny. But this is so terrible.
Hey, it's yo. Like, aren't you
Where did-
10?
Where did they get these voices?
Craigslist? I don't know.
My God. That
That's
reminds me that
hilarious.
I have to finish that as well. I legit have to finish that because it's on GameFly.
No, dude, I totally get it. Like, I still need to finish Celeste, and we haven't even talked about Horizon Zero Dawn that we both decided that we were going to put on the shelf until we finish other games.
If you
And
think
that
nothing's
flipped my mind.
nothing's gonna happen in November and December, so that's like free reign
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I'm honestly at this point I
the
might just
canvas.
Yeah, no, seriously. At this point, I think I might pick up Okami and Breath of the Wild for the Switch since I can take it places and it's portable.
And you know me, I'm a huge proponent for Okami.
Yeah, and I've never played it, so we'll definitely trade thoughts once I get the game.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I need to finish Celeste since that's the birthday game that we got so many months ago. And did you start Way of the Samurai 4 yet?
Dude, I finished that.
Really?
It's
Holy shit.
It's like 3 or 4 hours to play.
Oh, well, what did you think of it?
Oh my God, that game's ridiculous as fuck.
It's more ridiculous than Yakuza, or
It is
what?
like lightweight, also offensive.
Oh, really? That's amazing. I want to play that game now.
You know,
What?
honestly, I feel like one of these days I'll replay like the first hour so I can give my feedback on it. Because I can't remember my feedback anymore. I finished it in like March.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that game is so, oh my God, so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you beat it, and I feel ashamed that I didn't finish the game that you got me because it's so hard.
No,
like I gave
didn't
up after a
realize how
while.
hard it was, man. It's all good in the hood.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to complete it though. Don't get me wrong. I want to finish it, but I'm like, this is so challenging. I need to
No.
be in the right mood.
I feel it. Like sometimes, side scrolls, they're just difficult.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this to be like Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
But so my plan right now is finish Kiwami 2, start playing Shenmue, and then I will maybe pick up Sonic Mania, Okami, and Breath of the Wild on Black Friday along with Red Dead 2.
Sounds like a plan.
And for Shenmue, I want to record myself playing it, and I'll probably bring Mayu in so she can comment on things.
It's so dumb.
Exactly. We're going to be making fun of the voices the whole time.
Oh man, it is so dumb.
Yeah, I bet, and I cannot wait.
I will tell you this, the Japanese version is a wonderful game. I like the storyline. It's like a very simple storyline cuz it was way back in like the 90s. But it's fun. It's good. I like it.
I just want to be able to go up to people and be like, I'm looking for some sailors.
Stop.
Have you seen any sailors around here?
Oh my God.
Excuse me, where are the docks? It's like, what? Yo, shut up. Stop looking for sailors. I don't have a fetish. I just want to look for sailors. But it's that's how he sounds, right?
Yeah.
It's really cringy, and it's like, ugh, I can't wait.
Know.
Oh man, that's all I have to talk about gaming.
Cool.
Do you have any news? I haven't really been keeping up with any news. I've been pretty busy lately.
All right, so there's one news about Rockstar, but then I know that someone on the Discord wanted us to talk about Rockstar as well, and so we can talk about it in the questions. But I do. This is kind of old news. It's a week and a half old, but since I was sick, I didn't get to complain about it. But
yeah.
I've decided, and like I'm legit, like I'm not kidding. I've decided that I'm not going to play Kingdom Hearts. I'm boycotting Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, what happened? Because I have no idea what is going on.
Because fuck Square Enix, that's why.
What did they do? I have not been keeping up with the news.
So this is pretty old, but about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, they announced that they were doing a compilation game called The Story So Far. The title is actually called The Story So Far.
I just want to say, and before you go on, that I have a Shrek DVD set that is called Shrek: The Story So Far, and it's hold on, it's Shrek 1, Shrek 4D, the ride with 3D glasses, and Shrek 2, and that's just
Why
Shrek:
does it
The
have
Story
Shrek
So Far.
the 3D ride?
I don't know, all right, but that's what it's called. This collection of DVDs is called Shrek: The Story So Far. So I just want to say, Kingdom Hearts, you stole that from Shrek.
Oh my god!
If I can find a DVD cover of it, I'll post it in like the meme section of our Discord.
This is why you boycott Kingdom Hearts. This is the reason to boycott it, because they are copying, it's plagiarizing Shrek.
It's funny.
But I'm not buying it. I'm not buying Kingdom Hearts 3 anymore. Especially because the story, okay, if the story so far... So first of all, Kingdom Hearts has been delayed for 10 years between 2 and 3 that's going to come out in January of 2019. And then they have all of these side games, which you are kind of told, like, don't really, like, they're side games for a reason. And now you're being told late in the game, months before Kingdom 3 comes out, that, hey, you know those side games we kept releasing? It turns out they're actually relevant. So let me release a $40 game that sums up everything that you need to know months before the $60 game comes out. I think that if the story so far came out in, say, February of this year, or it came out in the beginning of this year, that would make sense. But instead, they pulled this bullshit where they didn't even figure out when the game was releasing, when Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to come out. They kept prolonging it, and every time that you thought they were going to release it, they didn't release it until, like, just some random time in the summer. And they're just telling you now, after they release the date, that, hey, this stuff's relevant, so pay to play it. So which is the reason why I'm legit not playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Because Square Enix can shove it. And the truth of the matter is that there's a lot of these fans who are still going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 anyway. So it's not like my purchase even makes a difference. But the fact that this is like probably like just my stance of that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, I can't support that.
No, I feel you. To be honest, I probably wasn't going to play it at all either, since I'm not a really huge fan of the series. I tried to beat one, but I got stuck on the part with Ursula, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this game. So I stopped playing it, and then now they announced like the remixes are coming out, and then they announced the story so far, and I was like, you know what? As someone who has been holding out this whole time, why would I bother throwing money at this that I never was really interested in the whole time? It's like, this is a thing that exists simply to piss me off, is what I feel like. It's like, the story's so convoluted and complicated. If you've held out for this long, good for you. But I'm sure there have been a lot of fans over time that have dropped off from the series.
Hashtag boycott Kingdom Hearts.
And to be honest, maybe I will play in the future, but I'm talking about like 5 years from now. So, I don't know.
Hashtag boycott Kingdom Hearts.
There you go. Said it twice. Solidified. Yeah, I mean, I am on par with you, Alyssa. I feel like it's not really a game that I'm interested in at the moment. There's a lot more interesting games in my pipeline. So yeah, we probably won't talk about that game on our podcast until something interesting comes up about it in the news, but you probably won't hear firsthand gaming experience from us. Sorry, guys.
Boycott Kingdom Hearts.
That's the third time. Well, all right, no more Kingdom Hearts stuff. Anyways, should we move on to questions?
Yeah, sure. Hashtag boycott Kingdom Hearts.
Fourth time. So we have quite a few questions this week. I'm very happily surprised by this.
I know. Thanks for all the questions, y'all. There's a lot of questions. In fact, there's actually a question that we missed. So,
and we're so sorry.
Yeah, so we're also gonna read that, and yeah, a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah. So the first one is from Hooded Dude. It's from episode 72 of the podcast. And Hooded Dude says, shout out to you, dude, by the way, says, I'm also a big fan of the detective games. Ace Attorney is so good, like Jeremy said. You'll definitely enjoy it, Alyssa. The soundtrack is memorable. I played the games like 10 years ago, and the soundtrack is still in my head whenever I think about Ace Attorney. Looking forward to replaying the first 3, which are the best in my opinion. Thanks for the TGS summary. I actually didn't have time to look at almost anything from that show, so it's nice to hear everything on your podcast. First of all, thanks for the nice comment, Hooded Dude. That was great.
Yes, as always, thank you. We're sorry that we actually missed this comment on YouTube, but we found it. So
yes, we're doing our best to make sure that no comment is left behind.
Yes.
That's pretty straightforward. Alyssa, again, you'll definitely enjoy it. The music's good, and then make sure you watch the live action movie because there is a live action Ace Attorney movie that I thought was fun. It's not the best live action movie of an anime that I've ever seen, but I think it's a fun movie regardless.
Sure, I'm down for it.
Yeah, everyone's wearing a ridiculous wig is what it looks like. It looks like a cosplay movie, but professionally done.
Okay.
And the movie's based on, I'd say, the first game. So there's a lot of you need to complete the first game before you watch the movie, otherwise you'll spoil everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, and thanks for listening to the TGS Roundup, Hooded Dude. I hope others that are listening also found it helpful. We love TGS. It's a great convention in my opinion, and we're trying to go there one day. I always talk about it, never go because we're always busy. But,
one day.
Yeah, we'll just keep saying that, sponsor us, JL, please. Would you like to take us in for the second one, Alyssa?
All right. So this one is from Go Anik Go, and we found out actually too that you say his name Anik. Anik.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yes. So, Downtime, I caught up on all episodes, and this is still a great podcast. Thank you for your work and efforts. This sounds too professional, doesn't it? I love Downtime Podcast. And so he has 4 questions, so I'll read them out. So, the first one is
Let's go one by one, by the way, Lisa. We'll just answer them one by one.
Yeah, the first one is actually for Jeremy, and it's have you ever played AC? Set to a different region to get the different rewards. Also,
yes.
What is AC?
Animal Crossing.
Oh my god, okay.
It's not Assassin's Creed.
Okay, yeah, no, I was like, what?
Yeah, no. Don't worry, I got it.
Okay, cool. All right, you can elaborate on that now.
You can finish the question before I elaborate.
Okay, so also non-game related, a previous podcast, you talked about Joypolis in Tokyo.
Yup.
I went to Japan with my cousin this summer, and Joypolis is awesome. Odaiba is underrated for gaming. I think it's better than Akihabara.
Okay. So to answer your first question, technically the rest of it is a comment, but yes, I have played AC, Animal Crossing, set in different regions to get different rewards. There's this thing called the International Island, which I'm sure you're aware of, Anik. It's where you go to either go locally or you can go internationally, and you can go to the International Island and meet other people from around the world. Usually when I did that back in 2013, there were always without fault Japanese people that would be there. And I met this one girl, and she would just throw free crap on the ground and be like, take. I'm like, oh, thank you. And she's like, it's yours. I'm like, thanks. And it was, and then I didn't know what it was, and then I picked it up and I looked at my inventory, and it was like a leaf chair or something, and it didn't go with the rest of my house, but I took it anyways because I was like, hey, free stuff, But that's about it. And then we went fishing together. We caught a bunch of bugs, and then she's like, bye. I was like, wow, that was a fast date. And then she just left. No words exchanged except for take, chair, thanks, bye. I was like, okay.
GG.
I know, right? I was like, cool. So yeah, I've been to, I guess, a different region per se. And well, I guess if he's talking about another way, which is if you go to Japan, you can actually take your 3DS to Japan. At the time, you could go to 7-Eleven and you can get 7-Eleven specific items, like 7-Eleven food. You can get a ATM machine, stuff like that from Japan. So I did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You have to go to 7-Eleven or Family Mart, and you can go connect to their Wi-Fi via your 3DS and download very specific items that are only for that region. So
That
if
is really
you're
cool. I had no idea they even were affiliated with 7-Elevens and whatnot.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Like one time I went to someone's house in the international house viewing place, I guess you could say. I guess it was a way to go view other people's houses from around the world, and without fault, the Japanese people's houses were always like perfectly pristine. Like every room had a theme, all the furniture from that theme was there. And this one guy had a 7-Eleven store as his lobby, and I was like, that's awesome. Like his whole lobby was like a convenience store, like perfectly laid out. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. So I looked up the history, and yeah, Nintendo did like a crossover with 7-Eleven for other previous Animal Crossing games, and you can get 7-Eleven specific items for that game.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and it was more of an incentive for people to get out and go to 7-Eleven, to be honest, because once you're in there, after you connect your 3DS to the Wi-Fi, you're like, I'm kind of hungry now. You know, you pick up a snack or something, you know, on your way home.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, to answer that part of the question, I actually did not do that. I wish I did. The most I did with my 3DS in Japan was Street Pass with people, which is when you put your 3DS on like standby, when you close like the lid of the 3DS per se, and then you just walk around Tokyo and you'll tag other people that have the Street Pass or have the 3DS on them, and then you can like go into like the built-in mini games of the 3DS and collect their names, collect the regions, and they help you like beat certain mini games. The more people you collect, the further in the levels of the mini games that you progress. So it's hard to explain, but you collect people basically, and I did that a lot, but I didn't get any region-specific items from Animal Crossing, and I'm really sad that I didn't. But
For sure.
it's okay. Maybe the Nintendo Switch version will do it. Next time I go to Japan with my Switch, I'll connect to the Wi-Fi at 7-Eleven and get those items.
Mm-hmm.
And
awesome.
the other part of it's a really cool thing that they did. And the other comment you mentioned, Joypolis in Tokyo and Odaiba being better for gaming than Akihabara, I 100% agree. I can't stress this enough, and I've mentioned it before when I first came back from Japan and went to Joypolis. I recommend that you go to the Sega Arcade Joypolis in Odaiba because it's much better than going to a gaming experience in Akihabara, because Sega does have a large arcade presence in Akihabara. Like when you walk out of Akihabara Station and you turn and walk onto the main strip of Akihabara, you'll see the Sega building that's red with the blue font. Like that whole thing is just all Sega arcade games. And while it's a lot of fun, like Joypolis is more of a theme park meets video games, and I love that aspect of it.
I really want to go to Odaiba now. Next time I'm in Japan.
Oh man, like it's a mall. There's Diver City. There's the giant Gundam.
Yeah.
Fuji TV is there. They have like the gift shop at Fuji TV.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if they didn't have Terrace House stuff when I went, but I wish they did.
That's like an entire day trip. Actually, I realized going to Odaiba. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, totally. But definitely check out Joypolis, because that place, I want to go back there. And make sure you buy the pass for like $50, because you can then play all day, unlimited amount of times on everything. So
nice.
Do it. Yeah. I love that. That's it. And also thanks, Anik, for surviving the summer in Japan. You know, I mean, glad you're back to comment on our podcast, because the summer in Japan is no joke. That is a hot summer. Very humid.
Asia summer.
Ugh, wow.
And all the mosquitoes are out too.
Ugh, don't like that either.
I know. The first time I went to Japan was during the summer.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really like say anything about that, because my first experience in Japan as well was in the summer, and it was like, wow, this is too much.
As much as I hate humidity, I can handle humidity better than dry heat.
Yeah, me too.
Humidity makes me like it sucks how you feel, but I'm still alive.
Yeah, and your skin is beautiful.
Yes. Your skin is clear and it's wonderful. It's smooth, it's soft. Gotta love humidity for that.
Oh yeah. So there's a second question as well. I can read it,
okay.
Elisa. So the second question is actually for you. It says, Elisa, based on your Detroit spoiler cast, what decision was the hardest to make? Not a choice cause you were trying to figure out the best ending, but the choice that incited the most emotion from you. And go Dubs.
Hey, go Dubs. We
Yay.
played Utah today.
Yep.
Now, I feel like when I played Heavy Rain, since that type of game was a surprise to me, more things were eliciting different feelings. And although I was trying to go for the best ending, I was definitely much more emotional when I played that versus Detroit. But I will also say that part of the reason why I didn't feel as emotional towards Detroit was there were some parts of the storyline that were kind of I don't know if this makes sense, my wording, but it was they were trying to be so feely that I didn't feel anything. Does that make
Yeah.
like
yeah.
and basically that's all because of the Marcus storyline, and so Jeremy Marcus is a protester android.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
it was one of those things where it was like you were supposed to feel something from that, obviously, especially when the protest went a different way. But the thing about the protest was it was too like not too liberal, but it was you were really trying to make me feel something regarding androids versus humans that I just kind of it was more of just me watching something versus actually having an emotion towards it. It was just too much, I think.
Yeah, I feel you.
Surprisingly enough, I think that the storyline that elicited the most emotion for me was Connor's, which is the guy who starts off with no emotions at all.
Oh.
And if I had to pinpoint a specific choice, like I want to say that and if you play Heavy Rain, then you'll remember this, but Ethan, Mars, and Heavy Rain in the White Room, that's probably the peak of all like my emotions. Like I was crying during that scene, and I just didn't know what to do. I think close to that, but I didn't feel it with Detroit. But the closest thing that I could make it to that is when Connor is at the mansion with Hank. And that's as far as I can go without being spoilery, but anyone who's played it knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And go Dubs.
Yes, go Dubs. All right. Do you want to read the next question, technically?
All right. So question number 3. In the political climate of the United States, if you found out a game developer that created a well-known franchise or a very respected and popular game turns out to be a dick or a terrible person, how would you react, and would you still support it?
I need to collect my thoughts first. If you already have an answer, you could go ahead.
Okay. I do have, so I read it, so I was able to think about it. How I like to sum this up is, so unless you're an indie developer, when you create a game, you have a lot of people on that team creating the game. So, for example, I'll give Naughty Dog. So remember Naughty Dog last year had the whole sexual harassment case, and HR kind of swept it under the rug. And that was really bad. And I think they also fired that person, which is exactly what should have happened. But I don't think, like, basically that action should not be a damper on everyone else in Naughty Dog who is a good person and worked on the game. So I feel that basically if you're playing a game that's made by a collective of like 500 people, if one person is the bad apple, that shouldn't affect how you feel about the game. If everyone is a Nazi, then yeah, sure. But yeah. That's basically how I feel about it.
Okay. No, I more or less agree with you. I don't really know of anyone in particular that would do it, but I can give an example. Let's say, what's that guy's name? Double Fine guy. I keep forgetting his name.
Y'all know.
Double Fine man. Let's say a Double Fine. I was gonna say Todd Howard, but nope, that's Bethesda. So let's say a Double Fine guy decides to be a dick and fire half the staff and be like, you know what? We're only gonna make slot machine games because that's what games are popular.
Tim Schafer.
There we go, Tim Schafer. He's a great guy, but I'm just saying, what if he turned into a dick? You know, would I still buy Psychonauts 2? Probably not. Knowing that fact, I'd wait for reviews to come out. I'd wait a couple of years until the game was cheaper and maybe like the drama surrounding this whole situation calmed down. My thing is always vote with your wallet. You should always speak with your money when it comes to video games. The good example is the Yakuza series. I know we always talk about it, but the only way that you can make more of this kind of game come out, and especially this franchise come to the West, is if you vote with your wallet. Pay for the game. You know, it's only $20 on PS4/PC on Steam. So if you really want to experience a lot of hours of fun and a dramatic storyline, then definitely check out that series, because that's one of the series that's a series that's I feel is refreshing to the game genre. And I want to see more of it, and I think there's a lot of people that agree. So at the bottom line is, if there's something that you don't like, then just don't buy it.
# boycott Kingdom Hearts.
There's the fifth one.
Going off of this topic, it's not political, but you know about the Rockstar story, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the Rockstar story a little bit because it's kind of related to people potentially being a dick.
Yeah, no, please elaborate.
Yeah, and if you, it's made its way through the media, but if you haven't heard, Hauser was doing an interview about Rockstar, and he was, hyping up the game, and one of the things that he hyped up the game with was, we worked 100-hour weeks just to finish this game, and that line, which is over the minimum hours by 60 hours in the United States, brought a lot of backlash. And then recently, I want to say yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, Hauser backtracked on the statements when I said that, I just meant it was the writers. And we worked 100-hour days, but we always if people wanted to work 100-hour days, it would be because they're passionate and it would be their choice. And then he also said that we allowed anyone who works at Rockstar to speak if they want.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I remember reading about all that, and my comments are only that I don't know how true this is. I mean, I believe Rockstar to be of the same standard and quality that it produces. The only way that good games are made is if there's good people behind it. So I'm really hoping that what he's saying is true, but also I'm not sure, because it's in this climate, it's hard to believe who's actually speaking the truth or not. We all know what happened to Telltale. And, they said a lot of things before, but they always turn out to be false.
Yeah.
So it's just where does it end? Yeah. Is there any honesty in this in this whole system?
Yeah. And everything was in bad taste because it all happened after the Telltale incident. And
yeah.
Just to give some background, in terms of the United States work culture, this is not calling out Rockstar and pinpointing them specifically and telling them they're a bad person. This is more of me bringing to light what the tech and video game culture is like in California in the United States. But these companies, their benefits, and they create a sort of community where you kind of everything is in the company and you never have to leave. For example, an example would be they cater your lunch, or they even cater your dinner, or they do all of these things. They have basically Google is a perfect example of this, where you can live in Google, and psychologically it's created that way so that you feel comfortable in Google and you feel like you put more hours into it. So it's not we don't for sure we don't know if this is like a definitive thing in Rockstar, and it very well might be, but this is like kind of the truth about the industry here. People lie and they underreport their hours even if they have worked like 80 hours. And I worked at a company before where a lot of people worked the weekend, like content writers and designers and engineers. They worked long hours and they still reported the 40 even if they slept at the company overnight because the CEO told them to. And this is just like, I think that with Rockstar and Telltale, this is just a good thing to bring light of the issues surrounding video game and tech jobs.
Yeah, no, totally. Thanks for enlightening us on that. I think it's a really good point, and I agree with you. I feel like people don't understand what it's like to be in a situation, because once you start doing it, you kind of don't really think about it because you're so stressed out or you're so focused on doing it that you don't really think about it until later when you're like, oh shit, like, this is actually happening to me. Like sometimes you read about it, but then when it actually happens to you, you're like, fuck, I guess I have to do it. There's some form of obligation. You feel like doing it you feel like you should be doing it, but it shouldn't always be this way, especially, the human body can't only take so much. So when you push someone to their limits, it's not good. And I recently experienced that, not personally, but I've experienced that with another coworker where he was being pushed to the limit, and he simply said he wasn't going to come into work because he couldn't feel anything anymore, and he was just really exhausted and tired, and he had huge headaches. And so, but they still needed him to work. And so the people at my company went to his house to get what they needed from him because he couldn't come to the office. It's like, oh my God, there's two sides to this. There's a side where it's like, you have to understand that not everyone can push themselves to this limit. And also there is a limit, but for the people that need something from you, despite, not understanding this whole concept, it's like, you need to be respectful of that. You have to be respectful of people's time and know that not everyone works on your schedule. So it was just really frustrating to see. And although, as I mentioned, it didn't happen to me personally, it's just there's something that needs to be done, something that needs to change.
The United States is capitalist, so this type of stuff happens all the time. Labor unions are allowed in the United States, but they highly discourage it, even though you're allowed to have one.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So I think whatever comes out of this, it's just important to be aware of what potential things can happen in the video game industry and tech industry in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So we'll close it out with some more fun stuff. I want to read the rest of Anik's question/comment.
Yes, go for it.
So his question number 4 is final lighthearted question. What is or where is your next travel location? And he closes up his comment/questions with, keep up the good work. I listen to the podcast on Android, but maybe I'll create an Apple account just to write a review for you guys. Aw, have a great night, Anik. So first of all, thank you for offering to make an Apple account just to write a review for us. That really means a lot to us, and we really appreciate that because, we're still growing as a little tiny podcast, and
yeah,
it's a lot of fun doing this for people, and it still amazes me to this day that people actually listen and ask us questions.
Definitely.
And to answer your question, I am actually traveling to Hawaii for Thanksgiving to visit my parents. They actually moved to Hawaii earlier this year, and now they're living their dreams out. And I want to go visit them. I haven't seen them in a while, so my brother and I are going to fly out to Hawaii and just hang out with them, eat some good food, maybe get a little fat, as it is in Thanksgiving.
Loco Moco.
I can't wait. But yeah, what about you, Lisa? Where are you going?
So I actually have like a tiny board, and it's not a mood board, but it's just when I have thoughts about visiting a place, I just write them down, and then sometimes I erase them if I'm not in the mood, or like it's one of those types of boards. So
sure.
Currently on my board, I have Japan, and then there's a arrow that I drew, Hokkaido, which is the northern island. So I have that. I have Cuba. I have New Orleans. I have Aztec temples.
Cool.
Yes. And I have Morocco. And they're just ideas and just inspirations.
Okay.
That eventually may or may not be acted on, like, either in a year or, like, maybe in, like, 20 years, so.
Sure.
Yeah, but those are things that are on my radar currently.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
It's always good to have a plan and then execute it later on when you have the means.
Yeah, definitely.
Our next question is from Divine Eater Auron from our Discord. And he says, I'm in San Francisco now and spending the last days here until I go to Mexico. I want to say that the seafood here in California is not what I expected. I'm biased, but a lot of the fish doesn't feel fresh, like they defrosted it or did not catch it the same day. Is this common? Well, first of all, I am not a fisherman, nor am I a professional chef myself. But I'm sorry that you're not enjoying the seafood here.
Oh my god, I feel. Oh my god, damn, that's like a that's like a diss right there.
Yo, that's a deep cut, bro.
I know. Well, Divine Eater Oran's from Turkey though, which is on the Mediterranean.
Right. I mean, he probably gets like the best seafood ever.
I know. So I'm gonna break it down the best I could. We actually don't get a lot of our food from seafood and fish from California. We get it from Alaska.
Yeah, so it's already frosted by the time it gets here.
Yeah, so that's on like, and that's basically how it is. There are things you can get here though. You can get oysters. You can get what is it? Dungeness crab.
Clam? Oh yeah.
Clams.
Yep.
There's probably more.
I'd say just shellfish, like the shellfish that we named in general is really good out here, but anything that swims, think twice about it.
Yeah, it's most likely from Alaska. Not to say that it's bad at all, because like Washington and Alaskan salmon is great. So it obviously will probably taste better in Seattle or in Alaska, but
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you still want to eat some better seafood, get crab, get shellfish out here. It's a lot better than getting salmon or cod roe, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Divine Eater, for the question. I'm glad you're enjoying North America, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're enjoying the Bay.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really sorry about the fish.
Yeah, if you ever come back, just get other stuff.
Yeah, it's not our best, but if you go to the right spot, you will find good stuff.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. The last question is from PJ Sucks, and it's from the Discord, and he wrote in, the Japan episode and Detroit episodes were great. I hope you two can get on the podcast together soon, because those two episodes were recorded separately, but we're back on the podcast, so yay!
Yay!
And then the question for Friday is, what's your favorite alcohol?
Well, first of all, PJ Sucks 108, welcome to the Discord, welcome to the podcast, and thanks for listening.
Yes.
It's always great to have listeners. Either you were a lurker before, if you're a new listener, welcome.
Definitely.
My favorite alcohol, I have to say right now, is Scotch, specifically Lafroig 10-year.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's relatively cheap to get. I'd say cheap because it's more of a cheaper liquor you could buy at Trader Joe's, because I buy it at Trader Joe's for like $40, and it goes for like $60 in other places. So I think Trader Joe's is a good deal. But it was one of the first scotches I was introduced to, and I just fell in love with it after that. It's really smooth. It's Scotch, for those that don't know, is a type of whiskey that's brewed in Scotland. It has to be brewed in Scotland for it to be called Scotch. It's very smooth, like I mentioned before. I keep saying that. I don't know why. But It's good. There's other drinks I could list, but right now I'm just gonna say Lefroy 10-year Scotch.
And I've tried it before, and it is very good.
Yes.
Straight up, when Jeremy and I worked together, one time one of our friends, like, he brought out like his straight up his work binder, and he opens up the work binder, and it's the freaking Scotch, and he goes, "It's my birthday."
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And we're like, what the?
He's like, take a shot with me. We're like, what? It's like 3 p.m. We're like, oh, okay.
Oh my god,
sure.
It really was though.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm down. Let's do it. That was a great moment. That was a really great moment.
Now for me, my favorite alcohol is tequila.
Tequila. Da 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 da.
Da 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 da. And just for kicks, I'd say my favorite beer is a company that comes out of San Diego, and they're called Belching Beaver. That's my favorite beer company, probably.
Oh, I had no idea. Nice. Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah, I drink a lot of beer. And I particularly really like that one. They have a really good stout. I enjoy their stout.
Okay. I'll have to give it a try sometime.
Yes.
And I'm mostly a lager guy when it comes to beers.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it. That's all for questions. If you want to ask us a question, email us. contact@Downtime.Live. If you go to www.Downtime.Live, you will have a link to our Discord if you want to chat there. And you can always contact us and ask a question directly on the website. And we are available on YouTube and pretty much every podcasting platform except for Spotify. If you want to write us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do so. And we're on Twitter.
Yeah. By the way, Alyssa, I heard it was easier to get on Spotify now. Some creator thing is happening with Spotify.
Oh, I gotta check that out then.
Yeah, I can send you a link. I think I think I bookmarked it somewhere. I'll find it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. And shout out to Anik. Thanks for the long question again. Don't be afraid to join our Discord, Anik. Always looking for more people to join the Discord.
Yep.
If you notice from today, as we mentioned, most of these questions came from our Discord. And so we're always chatting with you guys. I love seeing your guys' opinions and talking about stuff and just laughing at random stuff that we talk about. So
straight up, a Divine Eater posted his pictures from Yosemite. So
that was so cool, dude. Please post more pics. I want to see more because those are good photos. Like I was gonna comment and say like, "Oh, dude, these are great," but then the conversation went somewhere else. I was like, "That's weird if I comment again."
No, that's not weird.
I feel awkward. I was like, "Ah, man, I don't want to do that." Like,
oh my god. Okay.
The photos are great though, dude. Thanks to Divine Eater Aaron. Those photos are awesome. Please post more and tell us more about your trip once it's over or during your trip if you have time.
Definitely. And yeah, this has been the 75th episode of Downtime Podcast.
See ya. Have a good night.
Peace.